Hi everyone, I'm Michael.
And I'm Patrick, and you're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the future of Star Wars films. Recently, Variety was reporting that CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, was talking to investors at Goldman Sachs and said that they have plans to release movies through to 2021 and beyond. Mm-hmm. And that means that they also stated that means that for sure we're going to get movies up to 2021. So that means for sure we're going to get one in 2020. And that will probably be another anthology film, which we're going to have to sort of speculate for now. But beyond that, the 2021 and on might be a new saga, whatever, but they're going to have to wait and see for that for sure. But the 2020 has been announced.
Yeah, so basically when they first said this, I believe they said they were going to do 3 standalone films.
Yeah.
Right? And Josh Trank was supposed to direct the 3rd standalone film, but then he got fired because he's a maniac or something, whatever the story was there on Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
But the rumors were that he was going to be doing a Boba Fett movie.
Yeah.
But that was before they had settled on the Han Solo movie, or at least before they had announced it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to be going ahead with that now. It might be a bit too similar to the Han Solo thing.
So I think for sure that one was the planned Han Solo one, which got changed, and now that we have Han Solo. So yeah, you're right. I think it might be a bit too similar. In terms of like what other ones they could do besides Boba Fett, they've got an Obi-Wan movie.
Well, the Kenobi movie's definitely going to be happening.
Eventually, yeah.
Ewan McGregor wants to do it, that's it. It's done.
Yeah.
If he wants to do it, they'll do it.
Yeah. So whether or not, though, that's going to be this, like, sort of just standalone movie, or, which he had kind of hinted at, maybe even a trilogy.
Well, these are my thoughts on it. I don't know if you can sustain a whole movie where Boba Fett is the main character.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like he needs that mystique, and I know there's been comics where he's been the main character, and I know like he's been featured prominently in novels, but not really 100% from his perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like if they were making that Star Wars show, the TV show that was canceled, Star Wars Underworld, where he could pop in and maybe there'd be a Boba Fett heavy episode here and there, I think he could do that, but a feature film?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be difficult to write. So I think like the only options you have for him is to be sort of either in a cast ensemble, sort of like Rogue One, or as like a side character from like in the Han Solo one.
If they were making a movie that was like kind of about bounty hunters and he's not the main character, but maybe he's featured heavily, I can see
kind of like
being
a Suicide Squad type situation where he's like Deadshot and kind of the leader of this.
That'd be cool. They could do that with the bounty hunters. Get like Zuckuss and Forlom, and like like in Empire Strikes Back, they have like that motley crew of the bounty hunter lineup.
Even though you never get to see most of them again.
You never see them again.
Yeah.
But they're if you read the novels and comics, they show up quite prominently. So that's cool. Yeah, the Kenobi thing. So this is the thing about the Kenobi movie. It's gonna happen. I guarantee you that, because Ewan McGregor basically said he wants to do it, and as soon as that's it, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And what he said was, I think there's a really good story there. In fact, I think there's a trilogy there. Kind of wink, wink. He would never I doubt he sits at home brainstorming ideas for a trilogy. So I'm guessing what happened was he probably had a phone call from maybe Bob Iger or Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
And they're like, we kind of have an idea where we could maybe make this into a trilogy, but are you on board for that? And he's like, yeah, sure. And they're like, okay, we're not necessarily going to do a trilogy, but we're just kind of throwing that out there.
So that's kind of like enough to sort of change the game that I think that we're not 100% sure that this, trilogy can happen. I would be okay with one movie for sure. Trilogy if they did it well enough, but I feel like there might not be enough, like, substance there for
I don't think you would have to do, like, a continuous trilogy, like Force Awakens and Episode 8 and 9 all kind of go together.
Yeah.
Like, you could make it slightly, I want to say episodic, but you know what I mean? Like, not directly connected, but there's certain things that reoccur throughout. Like, maybe they're set a couple of years apart.
I kind of like to see one where Obi-Wan is going around and trying to, he realizes that the Jedi are starting to die off, and he's not, 100% sure what the cause is, and he's kind of going around trying to save them, and then eventually realizes that the actual cause is Darth Vader or Anakin.
Yeah.
Because, in Episode 4, he knows that, but at the end of Episode 3, he thinks that he's dead. So at some point, he must have learned that Darth Vader
survived.
that he survived, but you never hear that at all in any of the movies.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a very cool story for him.
Yeah, he must have assumed that he died, right?
Yeah.
He leaves him on the side of a volcano, with no limbs.
Exactly. So I don't think it would have been the first case he sees Darth Vader and he's like, oh, that has to be Anakin.
Yeah,
Like,
how would he know?
Yeah, how does he know? Especially because he's completely covered, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would be an interesting for at least one movie, if not maybe a whole
So
trilogy.
maybe he would actually have to, like, at some point leave Tatooine and go on, like, a final mission type of thing.
Yeah, and even cool because, like, you know, he had that whole detective element in, like, episode 2 and stuff. I think that'd be kind of cool for this to sort of him piece together, like, why the Jedi are dying, who's killing them, and then finally realize that it's Anakin.
That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe that could be like maybe the third standalone could be maybe Boba Fett, maybe something else, and then so then you're gonna have another trilogy, and maybe that could be the next trilogy.
Yeah, I think they might even have to wait to see sort of where the actual series is going now before if maybe they want to make episodes like 10, 11, 12 or something. But
I hope not.
Yeah.
I mean, well, like you gotta end it at some point.
Yeah.
I want to see them do a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy.
That would be really
They're gonna
cool.
get around to it. It's so obvious.
Yeah, even if they set the movie in that like era, I think it would be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
To see like what before the prequels.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching, guys. Leave us your thoughts on what you think will be number 1, the third standalone, and number 2, where are they going to go from there?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi trilogy? Maybe Knights of the Old Republic trilogy? I know that's what a lot of fans are asking for, and I know that it must have come up.
Yeah.
At some point.
And I think it's a good way to
behind
like,
closed doors.
especially if they want to do the next like episodes 10, 11, 12, to take a break and do a trilogy set somewhere else that's not really about the Skywalker family or whatever. Yeah.
So, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you all next episode.